lifestyle.
So there are many things that we should be thankful for, such as where we live, where we come from, where we go to school. Now, of course, when I mention school, many of us think, oh, that means I have to get up in the morning, I have to actually do something. It's kind of annoying. But for what many of us don't realize is that millions, even billions of people across this world don't have access to school. Now, most of these countries, of course, that I mentioned, are considered a third world country. We're just going to go through a quick rundown, though, of things we should be thankful for, as well as what we can do to help the people who are trapped in a third world country. Let's go. One of the things that we tend to take for granted, of course, is purified water. It's one of those things that you don't really think about until once you are exposed to it. Now, as we know, of course, as the jokes go, don't go to Mexico and drink the tap water. So this is one thing that we must be thankful for, because it is something that we need access to in order to stay alive. Another thing that we tend to take for granted is where it is I'm standing. I'm in the middle of Granite Bay High School. Now, of course, we always, as I said before, we always joke about school and how terrible it is. But it is something we take for granted, because there are many people who have to work day and night, even as children. Now, this doesn't always process through us properly, because sometimes we think, oh, at least they're getting paid. Well, not all the time in a lot of places are they being paid a salary that you can live on. Now, again, many people would kill to have access to an education like us. So it's important that we try to remember how necessary it is that we get our education in order to pursue our passions in the future. Alright, that should be good.
That one's like the South that was
Look at
that.
I didn't like it.
Now, what you just witnessed was the SOIT meeting, the Society of Independent Thinkers, one of the great clubs that we have on our campus. Now, one of the things I want to highlight on this is another thing we take for granted, is our freedom of speech. Now, it is important to realize that in many other countries, they don't have the civil liberties that we have. And that is one thing that I really gained perspective on when I went to a third world country and realized that protests were not allowed and they were not tolerated, especially in countries that are run by a more socialist dictatorship type of government. Now, I hope that you have all learned something about some of the things we take for granted. Next, we'll talk about why it's more beneficial to travel to a third world country in the aspect of just yourself, as to why it's cheaper, and as to why, and on how you can help the people who live in these countries. All right. Now, to highlight on the topic of cheap travel, it is important to realize that most third world countries are not developed as us, meaning that it's a lot cheaper to travel there, both through airfare or if you're taking a cruise around it, or if you're driving there. It's always a lot cheaper, especially considering the fact that the dollar is worth a lot more than, let's say, the peso, whereas in order to equal $1 US, you need over 16 pesos. Now, that means that not only can you get more out of your money, that means that you don't need to travel with as much cash on you and worry about losing it. Now, in order to describe ways that we can actually help out, I just want to go around the kitchen real quick and show some things that we have that they might not have in many of these countries. For instance, our appliances, and also a refrigerator full of food. Now, the way I want to describe how we can help by showing the refrigerator is showing that we can actually go to these countries and help plant crops, help them raise food, help them raise cattle. These are actual things that are gone through by many organizations and churches. Now, also, some of them don't know how to properly disinfect certain foods if they're hazardous to your health. So, as we have like purified water and sinks, we can use that. We can help them manufacture these in a mass production. We can help implement it in many of the towns. And finally, hygiene. Many of us know about how dirty, stereotypically, many of the countries can be. Now, all we have to do, though, is give simple lessons on hygiene. You can be an educator there if you wanted to go, and you can teach them about a more Western way of life. And in this way, not only will you be on vacation, but you'll be helping somebody.